Hey guys, so I got this cold to go cup accessory lid. It is currently being sold for $6.95 at Starbucks. It comes in this little box and it is made to be compatible with the Starbucks venti cold cup, the plastic one. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to bedazzle it and make it look like this one. Beautiful. Look at all that detail. So we're going to begin by filing down our surface because we want to make sure all those rhinestones stick on and last forever. So make sure you file down your surface, but do not skip this part because you have to make sure that you do not skip this very important part. So you see right here, we are not going to file it down. The part where we drink from, you want to make sure you leave that blank. Do not file it down because that's where we're going to be drinking from. So I don't know about you guys, but I do not want rhinestones in my mouth when I am drinking my drink. So you see how I'm going in and out? I'm not going in that part. So everything else is filed down though. You see right here, this is the one I made already. Right there, I'm gonna leave it empty because that's where we are drinking from. I did the bottom because the back lip is gonna be touching that, not our actual lip. So after you're done filing it down, go ahead and wipe it down with some alcohol. Make sure you take off all that dust and it's ready to bedazzle. So now I'm going to apply the epoxy. I'm ready to bling this out. Make sure no glue is on your black part of the lid because you want to make sure that can still move and it doesn't get stuck. So I am going to be using AB rhinestones. Overall, I am trying to use a size SS20. That is what I'm using right here. And the SS20 should fit perfectly across the first line. The first line through the third line. So you're going to do 3 lines of SS20. Make sure they fit nicely close together because you should not need no fillings here. No extra rhinestones. 3 rows of SS20 should fit perfect. So go ahead and fill those in. Make sure your rhinestones are not overlapping to where the black part of the lid is because then you're not going to be able to close or open your lid to drink from the cup. So make sure, double check that your rhinestones are not overlapping that part. So you see right here how I'm moving the lid, the black part of the lid up and down because I want to make sure the rhinestones already placed are not going to be blocking it from being able to open or close. So always double check that your rhinestones are where they're supposed to be. So like I said, it's going to be 3 rows of SS20 right here. That is what I did. And they should fit perfectly without having to need fillings. So keep going, filling in those 20. So right here, as you can see, I did not put a 20 at that edge because I know it's not going to fit. So I just left it empty and kept moving on. You see how it doesn't fit? Just skip those parts where they're not going to fit. And we'll go back to fill it in. So right here you can see I already put all the 20s that could fit, but I have some gaps. So I'm going to go on and fill those in with whatever sizes it needs. I used a 12 right there in those little spots, as you can see, because the 16s did not fit. So I had to move on to a 12. You see those little gaps still in there? So now I moved in with the 10. I'm working my way down with sizes. I did the 12, I did the 10s, as you can see right there. Now I'm moving on with some 8s. I have all my rhinestones lined up in order by sizes, so I can just go off base that and fill in the rest of the gaps. So now I'm using a size 6 to fill in those other gaps and size 3 to fill in the rest. So that is what I used for this part of the lid. Double make sure the rhinestones are placed where you want them to be. The parts that I did have gaps but I didn't want to fill in, I just stretched out the rhinestones, gave them little gaps in between them, the size SS20, and that's all I did. So I went on ahead and did the other side of the lid, which is identical to the one we just did. So now we're going to do this little edge part right here where the lid stops. I'm going to go on and put on my epoxy and fill it in with a size SS20. Make sure you push back your lid because you don't want that glue to get stuck to it and then your lid's not going to move anymore. So like I said, I am using SS20 right here because I want it to blend in with the rest of the top lid. You see? Super easy and super simple. So now we're going to move on to the black part of the lid. I am using epoxy for this part also, and I am going to bedazzle it with black color rhinestones. So we're breaking it down to these two sections right now. For the back of that little part right there, I did use a SS16. That is what I used for that part of the lid, and just did one straight line across. So now that we did that part, make sure your rhinestones are nicely and neatly placed together, not too close to the bottom and not too close to the top. So for this part of the lid, I did use SS3 to fill in that tiny little gap. I wanted to do it because I feel like it just gives it so much detail with those tiny little rhinestones. It shows how much work you put into this and it makes it more beautiful. It's totally worth just blinging that little section. So once you did that, make sure everything's nicely and neatly placed on. We are moving on to this part, the top part of the black lid. So I am using SS20 right here, and as you can see, it's not a straight line, but that's okay. Just keep putting on your rhinestones in straight lines, and at the end we will have a fill-in, but that is fine. So just keep using the SS20 all the way till you get to the bottom. So as you can see here, I am just about done with this part of the lid. Make sure your rhinestones are nicely placed in a straight line. Even though it's curved, it still needs to be straight to make sure everything goes on nicely. So I'm done using the SS20, and now I am going around that middle 20 with a 16 on each side. After that, I put on a 10 and a 3. So it was 20, 16, 10, and a 3 to finish it off in that little fill-in section. So we are done with the top of the lid. Double check your rhinestones are placed where they're supposed to be. And look at this. Look how beautiful it already looks. So now that we are done with the top of the lid, we are moving on to the sides. So we are going to begin by doing the back. You see right here how it has a curve? We are doing one curve at a time. So I already placed my epoxy on, and I am using SS20 again for this part of the lid. This is the back of the lid, and we're going to do a row of 20s, okay? Put on your 20s all on this line. Now, we are doing 2 rows of 20s right here. Like I said, these sides are curved, so you have to be very careful to not overlap them. We are going to be using a lot of different sizes here, so make sure you are following closely. So we got our 2 rows of SS20s. Once we get to the curved part, because it is split into 2, you are going to be putting one SS20 and one SS16. You see how I'm placing the 16s now with a 20? So in total, I did 3 lines with SS20 and 3 16s. I did 1 20 with a 12, and then I went back and did a straight line with 3 20s, 2 16s, and the rest were 12 until I got to the end part right here. Now I am working on my other curved line. I'm going back to doing my 20 size rows. You see right here, I got a 20 and a 20, another 20 and another 20. So far I'm doing 2 lines of 20s, And then I had to move down to the 16s because the 20s no longer fit. After that, I moved on to the 12s because the line is shrinking. So once I'm done doing the 20s with the 12s, I went back to one single rhinestone, which were the size 20, working my way down to the smallest rhinestones, which were SS3s. So I used a few 10s, 8s, 6, and 3s to fill in that. Look at all that small detail. So I know it's a lot going on. It's just because it's so much curve to it. Just work your way down with your sizes. You can see what fits and what doesn't, and just fill it in with your sizes, working from your way up, down. So right here, you can see I filled in that bottom line with the 12s. That is the part that the back of our lip is going to be hitting. So as you can see here, I did the other side, and that's it, guys. Look how beautiful this looks. All this detail. Look at all this. It's super, super beautiful. I love the curves that it has because it makes the rhinestone stand out even more. Super, super cute. I loved how it came out. Remember, do not file that down and do not bling it because that is where you are going to be drinking from. So this is how it looks. Look at this. Super, super cute. So remember, like I told you guys, this lid is compatible with the Starbucks Venti cup. This is a Starbucks Venti cup that we bedazzled. Look how it fits. It gives the cup such a different look. Super, super cute. I love it. So go ahead and go to Starbucks and buy your lid and bling it out. Now you know how to do it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching. And I'll see you guys in the next one.